Hi, I'm Jenna, also known as Retro Lemon on Ravelry, and this is episode 5. I think I'm going to title it 4 Whips and an FO. I haven't really had a lot of time to get a lot done this week. Once again, I was on the go. All kinds of doctor's appointments. Unfortunately, I'm recording like 5 hours earlier than I normally do because I have to take my son to the ENT. It looks like he's going to have some tonsils taken out. So, not a whole lot of time to knit this week. It's one of those weeks where I just feel like I can't catch up. Like, always something's coming up. I always have to be somewhere. So, hopefully, after today, we'll know exactly what's going on and can move past it all and get back into the swing of things. So, I don't know how quick they'll be able to get him in for surgery. And I'm kind of nervous, and he's kind of nervous. And it's just one of those things. One of those nerve-wracking things of being a parent and thinking, my baby, he's got to have surgery. So that's kind of how my week went. Not a whole lot. No drama. No sticking SD cards in the wrong slot this week. So I got a lot of laughs about that, I've heard. So thank you for everybody who does comment on the podcast. And there have been a bunch of new members. So hello to all the new members in the group and new viewers if this is the first time that you're tuning in. And to all the returning viewers, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for the ratings on iTunes and the comments on iTunes and the blog and Ravelry, and it's all so amazing, and I feel the love. So this week, let's see, I have notes. I wanted to talk about Fidget because everyone, not everyone, but a lot of people have asked me when a new pattern's coming out, and I'd love to be like, oh, really soon, but it is just not happening, just with everything going on with my son and doctor's appointments, and because he has strep throat again. He's had it 4 times in the last 2 months, which is nuts. So I finally pushed to get the referral to the ENT. So we're doing that, and he was home Monday and Tuesday. Today's Wednesday. I have to pick him up early from school, so I'm recording a lot earlier. And I get nothing done when my kids are all home. Nothing. I'm like, give me a break. I know a lot of parents feel that way, especially stay-at-home moms with little kids. So I totally feel you there. So I haven't really had the time to design. I have so many ideas, and I have some sketches, and I have a few like little rough things written out. But when I design, I really like to sit down and I like to focus, and I kind of, I don't know, I almost like write the pattern before I knit it, and then as I knit, I just go through and make changes as I go. I mean, I know everyone has their own style. I mean, definitely, you know, not everyone does that. Some people knit it and just write things down as they go, and I've done it that way too. So I was so excited when Michelle of Dancing Dog Dye Works had contacted me and let me know that I could go ahead and release Fidget, which for those of you who aren't familiar with Fidget, this is Fidget. I don't want to get her too close because she's kind of, I don't want to be like she's a big girl, but she's bigger. I think overall she might be one of the biggest designs I've done. Liam the lanky robot. He's kind of long and skinny. She's kind of, I wanted a good, huggable toy to knit because I like huggable stuff. So she's pretty good size though. I mean, she's definitely great for a little kid who likes to hug and carry it around, and cute little limbs and a tail. So anyways, I had been asked by Michelle to create a pattern specifically for her yarn to be put in a kit before Christmas of last year. So I went ahead and I did Fidget, the dancing dog, since it's Dancing Dog Day. We're just going to do a dog, right? Named Fidget after Michelle's real dog. And the colorway was Fidget. So for a while it was exclusively in a kit. And I know Michelle has so much going on. She's introducing so many new lines of yarn, which is so exciting. And I know her worst weight is being held up by something with the supplier. It's not her. So I know the kits, you know, lots of people have them and there's not really any worst weight coming in, and she's got so much other stuff that she decided to let me go ahead and release it early because I wasn't supposed to be able to release it until November 1st of this year. So I was really excited because this really helps me out. So for people who have the pattern already, who got it in the kit, I'm sorry there's not anything new right now, but I'm definitely pushing for mid-April. We have spring break coming up, which is going to throw a wrench into everything, kind of for me, at the beginning of April. So hopefully by mid-April, that I will definitely have something out. I have a pattern that I'm excited to release, but it's giving me some trouble. And I've hinted about it in my group and stuff, and some people, I think, are pretty sure they know what it is, and they're excited and I'm excited, but I don't want to say what it is only because I don't like to make promises I can't keep. And if for some reason I can't pull it off, I don't want people to get like excited about something and then it not happen. But this one has me flustered just as a designer. I want my patterns to be, I want to say I want them to be easy, and it's true. I want them to be easy because I think the more difficult patterns are, the less likely people are to knit them, or knit them more than once. And my goal as a designer was always to make fun patterns. I love knitting toys. They're my favorite things to knit, so that's what I make. And to make the instructions clear, to make them easy to follow, and make the patterns easy enough that you're not done with it and you're like, oh, thank goodness that's over. I don't want to ever do that again, because I don't like patterns like that myself. So when I write patterns, I try to think of what I want to see in a pattern. So far this mystery project, which isn't really a mystery, it really isn't, it's just giving me fits. If I don't 100% love it, then I'm not going to release it yet, and I'm not to the love point yet, but hopefully I will get to the love part soon and get all the kinks worked out. It's just one of those things where I don't want it to have a really complicated construction, and I myself haven't found a way to uncomplicate it yet, so that's where that stands. So Fidget is now available for anyone who was waiting for it, or who hasn't seen it and would like to have it. And like I said, my apologies to people who have had it and who are anxiously waiting for a new pattern. I promise April I will deliver something. I do have patterns lined up, but there's this one specific pattern that I want to get out more than anything, and I know some people are waiting for it, and hopefully I'll find the solution to my problem. And like I said, hopefully things will settle down in the next week or two. Oh my goodness. So, finished objects. I have one this week. I am so excited. You know what? Wait. I'm getting ahead of myself. Before we go to finished objects, I'm going to cover the knit-alongs really quick because there's like a week and a half left for the March knit-along, which is my pattern, Chelsea the Chatterbox Monster. And I am so sorry if you're sick of seeing her, but she's really cute, and if you haven't knit her, you really should. So that's Chelsea, and she is my March knit-along, and Diane of Knittables is having her March Monster Madness, so you can double dip. If you knit a striped one, you can go hop over to the Stockinette Zombies and participate in their striped knit-along. I mean, why not, right? So, week and a half left. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to lock the thread for the knit-along on the 31st. But I'm not going to draw the names of the winners until the podcast, which I think it falls on the 4th, April 4th. Is that right? I think so, because I think the 31st of March is a Saturday, so yeah, it would be the 4th. Unless if something comes up and I need to record early, which it probably wouldn't be more than a day. So, I'm just going to leave it open till then and then close it. And then you'll have to wait 3 or 4 days to find out the winner, because I want to give you a full month. So, that's Chelsea. So, just real quick to run through some rules of the knit along. You can make as many Chelseas as you want. Just make an individual post for each one, because I will be using a random number generator to pick the winners. So that's how that'll work. And then you got to be a member of the group, because it's only fair. And that's really it. And you can only win one prize. So if you win one prize and then go to pick another prize and you've already won one, you're out of luck. You only get one, because I want to make it fair, make as many winners as possible. So that's that. And then to cover the second knit along, which is, I figured, like I said, not everyone's into toys. I don't know why, but some people aren't. They say they're fiddly. I say give them a chance. And so the other one is for shawls, and you get to pick from 3 shawls, and each one has a different design element. So I figure you can kind of pick, you know, your style, or if you want to try something new. You get to pick from the whippoorwill, the Osa shawl, and the Spring Awakening. Oh my god, I drew a blank for a minute. And the prizes, a quick rundown. I will be getting a skein of Dancing Dog Dye Works for the Chelsea. You also get to pick from a project bag. Like I said, project bag by me. I figure I'll have 3 or 4 sewn up, and you will get to pick. Because like I said before, I like choices, so I figured why not give you a choice if you win the bag. And then the third place for the Chelsea, you get to pick any pattern of mine and be gifted that. And if you have already all my patterns, you can either choose to gift your gift to somebody else, or you can wait, and sometime in April you will be the first person to receive the new pattern. So, and then for the shawl knit along prizes, so I gotta let people know what they're gonna win. The first winner will get 2 skeins of Knit Picks Shadows in the retired spring green colorway, which this is my favorite. I dug this out of my stash and I love it. It is my favorite color of green. I like Knit Picks Shadow, it's nice. And the second person to win will also get to pick a bag. And the third person to win gets the Knitter's Bible Knitted Accessories book. And the shawl knit along runs for all of March and all of April, so you have time. I figured if you wanted to do both knit alongs, I wanted to make it so you could squeeze both of them in. And like I said, if you're not into toys or you only want to do one, you've already entered it and want to move on to something else, you have plenty of time to knit a shawl. So, speaking of the shawls and the knit along, I can now move on to finish objects, because I finished my Osa shawl. Now, last week I had talked about my frustrations with the shawl, because when you finish the first part, that's all drop stitches, the count is off on the pattern. So you definitely gotta, it lists all the errata on the project page on Ravelry. Well, you have to get down, because it says updated in July. So if you have a newer pattern, all that is correct. But you gotta go all the way down. I mean, you gotta scroll for a little while. And then at the very bottom, it then has more corrections, which gives you your final stitch count for when you're finished with the drop stitch section. Because if not, you'll have 4 stitches too many if you keep going, or a couple stitches less. It was just, I had to think back like 2 rows, I think. 2 or 4. I think 2. Yeah, it had to have been 2. Which was a lot of stitches by that point. It was like 500 stitches. And I'm like, I was frustrated just because I'm like, okay, you know, I had the updated one. And I just thought that the correction should have been at the top of all the stuff. So, that's all. Just how I would have done it. Everybody's different. So, I did. I tinked back. And I finally got where I needed to be, and it was all correct. And by that point, I was just so frustrated with it that I had to, like, put it in timeout. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to think about it. I was just really frustrated. Because I'm thinking, okay, I did my part as the knitter, and I kept my row count and everything, and I paid extra close attention since I had never done, like, continuous drop stitches. I've dropped, you know, a pattern where there's a drop stitch here and there, but not to constantly every row drop tons of stitches. So I was very careful. I'm like, I did my part. So just being completely frustrated, I set it aside for a few days. So then finally I'm like, okay, if I don't pick this up now, I'm never going to get to it. So I finally picked it back up, and it was smooth sailing from there out. There was only one small mistake in one of the rows, and it was supposed to say K2, you know, for knit 2, in general, knit 2 stitches, and it said S2. Whatever, not a big mistake. I knew what it meant, following the pattern, I mean, but it was still a mistake, and I don't know that it was in the notes for the pattern. So, anyways, I finished it. And I think it is beautiful. The lace pattern, the lace edging went fast. I mean, the instructions were clear. It went really fast. And it's a lot, I don't know, I made the size large. I think it went up to an extra large. And I think still when I pinned it and I blocked it, it still just didn't look very big to me. It looked wide. Definitely wide enough, but I don't know that it, you know, looked long enough. But it is. It ended up, like, when I put it on, I'm like, wow, this actually is really huge. So, I'll put it on. I don't know that it goes with what I'm wearing. But, like I said, I always, let's see if I can, I feel discombobulated at the moment. I always wear mine kind of off to one side. This is wish I had a mirror or something. So I apologize if it doesn't look real right. But I use the Color Shift yarns, which are the gradient little skeins that all come together as a set. This is the Color Bridge Botanical to Clay. And I was really concerned with this block of green. See, and if I wear it over my shoulders this way, see, it is actually very generous in length. I'm really happy I stuck to it. I love the end result. I think it's very pretty. It definitely, you know, looks like it's supposed to. The drop stitches, I'm not a fan. It's not a technique that I am crazy about at all. I definitely learned from it. I like to learn new things. So I guess the thing I have learned from this shawl most of all is I don't like drop stitches. And, oh, I think I got it backwards here. And, like I said, I think if I hadn't have gotten frustrated with the pattern having errors, I definitely wouldn't have been as frustrated. Like I said, the drop stitches not me. Once I got to the lace, it was smooth sailing. I whipped through this lace pattern in no time at all. I kind of, it said in the directions, I hope I'm not breaking any type of copyright thing, but it said in the directions that you could do noops. And I was like, okay, well, I'll do noops just to kind of use up some of the yarn. I had 8 of these mini skeins, which I think was a little over 600 yards or something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head. And I thought, okay, well, when you put the noops in, because it gives you a yardage estimate with and without noops, and I'm like, oh, well, I really should have come in with, you know, just a little bit to spare, I think. And it said in the directions when you come to where it says to put the noops, you can put beads instead. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm knitting along. Never anywhere did it say where to put a noop. It said where to put a bead. But, you know, I guess I'm expecting it said where it says to put noops, you may put a bead. And I'm like, okay. So I'm looking for the direction, waiting for it to tell me where to put a noop. I mean, it says to put a bead, and I just guess I didn't put two and two together that that's where a noop would go. So I didn't put them in because I was kind of like waiting to, and then I'm like, once I got like halfway through the thing, I'm like, where are the noops? And so needless to say, there are no beads and there are no noops, and I didn't use all of the yarn. I think okay, so there was 8 skeins. When I got to the 7th skein, I'm going and I'm knitting and I'm like, I'm never going to get to the 8th. I'm going to finish it before I get to the 8th. So with 4 rows remaining, I switched to the 8th, just so I could get some of the really bright clay color that's along the edge here in, because that was like my favorite of all the orange shades that came with it. So then you have to do a bind off, and I think you go up like 5 or 6 needle sizes from what I was using and to bind off, so you get a really loose, stretchy bind off, which worked perfect. It really did. I was kind of like, I don't know about that, going up so many needle sizes. I mean, normally they can tell you to go up like 2 or 3, but I think it was like 6. 5 or 6. So I'm like, okay, just follow the directions. I try to trust the directions, and it worked. So, excuse me, I had about half of skein 7. So, like I said, I stopped with 4 rows to go, and then I used skein 8, which I probably used at least 2/3. I'd say 2/3, maybe slightly more. I don't think this is a quarter of a skein. I'll say 2/3 of it, because it took so much yarn for the bind off. So I do have more left over than I was hoping. I mean, I was almost hoping I'd cut it close. I mean, I didn't want to run out before I needed to, but I was really hoping to use as much as I could. So there's only, I think, like 6 rows that were done in color number 7. We'll call it color number 7 of the 8. I think if I would have done the noops, and the directions would have been written the way they said they were, because it said, you know, when you come to a noop, you can place a bead instead, and it never said noop in the pattern. That, I definitely would have. I would have done the noops, even though I hate doing noops. And I have this much left, and I don't know what to do with it. I mean, I'm making the beekeeper quilt, but I'm only using superwash yarn. And this isn't superwash. And then as I knitted, I just would go and do a splice join with the yarn and just keep going from one color. And I didn't worry about, oh, I'm in the middle of the row. Because I figured by the time all these drop stitches stretched and everything, you were never going to know where the joins were. And I was right. You can't tell. But I kind of wish I would have known. I would have had so much left over of the last 2 colors, because I maybe would have cut back in the top of the green where I was concerned, because there is still quite a jump from the color number 1 to color number 2. But definitely as a whole, when it's all together, it is definitely not at all as noticeable. I'm hoping I'm getting all of this in, because it is, I love it. Like I said, I absolutely love it. Didn't exactly love the pattern, or I should say the way it was written. Didn't love drop stitches at all. I won't knit this again. That's just me. Like I said, I didn't 100% enjoy it. I mean, definitely now knowing that there's errors, I would definitely plan better and probably breeze through it a little quicker, since I wouldn't have to tink back and get frustrated and put it on timeout and all that. But I am happy with the end result. I absolutely love it. Worked out the way I wanted it to. I love this, the color bridge from Color Shift Yarn on Etsy. So that's that. It's a little autumnal. I'll have to wait till fall to wear it. And it looks like a giant leaf to me. So I'm pleased. That's my one and only FO this week. So for works in progress, I am a bit ashamed to say that my Chelsea is still in pieces. And you would think in a week, all her pieces parts, in a week I would have found time to stuff and assemble her. But I didn't. I was on the go so much. And when I had a little bit of time at home to knit, I was working on my shawl because I just needed to get it off the needles. I was really afraid if I just didn't get it done, if I didn't suck it up and push through it, that I would never get it done. That was my big fear, because I have a few things that have been on the needles for a couple of years that I really should just frog or finish. I should. I actually have like a little plastic bin that they're shoved into. All of my whips that have gotten no love in at least a year are all together in this bin. And that's where they live. I actually think the bin is in the attic now. I think it got moved there during the holidays to make room, and then my vanilla sock in the Love My Nomies by Dancing Dog Dye Works actually got love. I said last week, I'm like, oh, I started this on my way to the Apple store, and I'll probably set it aside and not touch it. Oh, I touched it and gave it love, and actually got the whole cuff of the sock done. I was kind of hoping it would be a little more variegated, and it decided to kind of stripe, and I just let it. I love this base. It's the twist base. It's definitely one of my favorites. And so I know what stitch count works for me. Since I don't have an actual pattern, I just go with it. And I'm like, well, if I try a different pattern or a different stitch count, it might not fit me the way I like. So I just let it. I'm like, who cares? They're for me. So there's that. And now I will set this aside, because the reason I even worked on it so much is sitting at doctor's offices. I'm like, I'm sitting, I'm knitting. Because then, you know, you wait in the waiting room, and then you get called back to the little exam room, and then you wait some more. So, lots of love because of that. And then I decided, I'm like, okay, these aren't really the socks that I wanted to work on. So I have to plan a little better. So since I have an appointment to go to today, I thought, what the hey? I'll start some striped socks. Because I love striped socks. They're my favorite kind of sock yarn. Because they keep me interested. Because sometimes you're like, just one more stripe. Or you're like halfway through a stripe and you're like, I can just finish this before I set them down. And then the next thing you know, you're going, just one more stripe. So they move faster for me. So, like always, I do just a small 1-inch rib cuff. Or with striped socks, I usually sometimes do like the first 2 stripes. And I like mine to match. So I started these ones. I actually had divided the yarn, decided where I needed to start to get them to match up, and then cast them on and took them to the doctor's yesterday. So I got them started there. So these will actually go with me today. And now I had this is leftover sock yarn that I had used to make a toy. Toys are not my favorite to make in sock yarn. And I didn't have enough for a full pair of socks, so these will be more like ankle socks. So these will have shorter cuffs before I start to the heel. So these are coming with me. These I hope to have finished fairly soon. They shouldn't take me that long because they'll be smaller. And this, oh, this is Dancing Dog Dye Works Twist again. The same base as the other ones. And these will stripe from yellow to like an aqua blue to a lime green. This was a club colorway from Socktastic Summer from last summer. So I figured I'm just getting to them now. Why not? I thought for summer I was really ready for some bright colors, and like I said, since they'll be more like ankle socks, they'll go really fast. And I would be more inclined to wear them as the season gets warmer. And then this is my last FO. I have 4. This is, oh, wrong bag. I have too many bags sitting here. This one. I started this last night at my knitting night. And surprisingly, I didn't get lost in the pattern. Because sometimes it's lace, and sometimes when you're sitting there gabbing with a group of ladies, lace can get lost. Like, you can lose stitches, you can get lost in the pattern. And I don't have the pattern sitting here. It is the Fleur de Lis one skein lace shawl. Yeah, I know it's the Fleur de Lis one skein. I think it's the one skein lace shawl. And I couldn't tell you who it's by. I don't remember. But I'm making it for a friend because pink is not my color. I'm not girly girl pink. But she is. Takes all kinds, right? Somebody's gotta like it. No, really, it's a pretty pink. It's Knit Picks Stroll sock yarn in the tonals, and it is Summer Blooms. So it is very pink. And this is a real easy pattern so far. I'm kind of nervous because it has a knit-on lace edge, and I've never done that before. But I thought, okay, I was like looking through my stash, and I'm like, what would I have that she likes? And I'm like, oh, pink. So, hopefully she'll like it when I'm done. Hopefully I'll like it when I'm done. I'm like, the pattern looks simple enough, but you know, when you look through and you see finished patterns that people have done on Ravelry, sometimes they're like, this took forever, or was complicated, and other people were like, oh, super easy pattern, I flew right through it. So far so good, it's easy. I'm just nervous about the knit-on lace edge. I just hope it doesn't take too long. That's my only thing. Because I want to be able to give it to her quickly, because, you know, it's a gift, and I don't like making people wait. I like to be like, here you go, it's all yours. So, it's so funny because the ladies at knitting, my knitting night, I had this out, and they are like, what are you doing with pink? And I'm like, it's not for me. They're like, oh, good, didn't think so. Because I'm just not a pink and purple girl. Not me. And I will link the pattern in the show notes with who the designer is, because I was kind of on a whim and just grabbed it and went on. It's been in my queue, I think, since it came out. So I had been wanting to knit one for myself, but I thought, well, I kind of wanted to stash dive because I didn't have time to really order anything, and I thought she would like it, and I wanted to get it to her because I love her. You know, and I think that would be perfect. And it's so funny because I'm like, I don't know why I bought this pink yarn. Like, I wouldn't have bought it just to buy it. I would have had a purpose. And evidently, the reason I bought it is gone because I don't even know what it was. So, luckily I had it. It was meant for her, I guess, because there it was sitting in my little yarn cubby. And I'm like, perfect. It'll be great. Yay. So, let's see. We'll move on to enabling. And I have to totally give a shout out to Lauren, who is, I'm trying to think, LEMCM88, I believe that's correct, on Ravelry. Because I had talked last week about how I was so bummed that I didn't get the Fiber Nymph Good and Plenty sock yarn. And it really wasn't that big of a deal. I was just, playing it up a little, my little boo-hoo. Anyways, so she had PM'd me on Ravelry, and I had just gotten home. I had just gotten home and got on the computer, and she had just PM'd me like just a few minutes before that and was like, Fiber Nymph has custom orders right now. Like, now. Big letters, like, go! And sure enough, I got over there, and I got two. I got 2 custom orders. I was so excited. So I'm totally getting my Good and Plenty sock yarn, and then I'm also getting Time to Make the Donuts. Because I got it in Worst, but I love pink and orange together. I don't really like pink, but you put it with orange and you kind of won me over. And then the brown, that's just genius. So I'm totally getting those. So yay, thank you, Lauren. And she was so cute because I thanked her. I'm like, thank you, thank you, thank you. And she's like, oh, I grabbed my 2 and thought I'd be nice and share the yarn love. So I totally would have done the same thing. Gotten what I wanted and then told someone else, because that's how it works. Like I said last week, don't post anything online before you buy it, because it'll be gone. So, I'm excited. I couldn't be happier. And then I got Dancing Dog Dye Works had a tweed yarn come out, and I love tweed. I was talking, I think it was 2 weeks ago, about how I got the Lion brand tweed. I don't think it's close to me. Anyways, and it's like more like a barbershop pole kind of twist looking. It doesn't have these little nubby things. Like I said, when I think tweed, this is what I think with the little flecks in it. There's little black and brown and cream flecks. And Michelle must have known that I would love this. My all-time favorite shade of green, hands down. And it's called Chili Verde? I hope I'm saying that right. And to me it looks like a pickle. Like, it totally looks like a pickle. And there was an update, and she had posted that it would be running late. The update, the shop update. So we're waiting, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I just didn't have time to wait. I'm like, my husband was coming home from work, and I'm like, I hate when he sees me like during an update, because he says I'm so serious. He's like, you are so serious and focused. I'm like, because you gotta move like lightning to get it. So I finally had given up. I'm like, no, I said, I just can't. I can't sit here any longer, because it had been like, I'm thinking like 45 minutes. Anyways, I think the update ended up being an hour and 12 minutes or something behind what it was supposed to be. And I know something came up for her, and stuff like that happens. I mean, I know it can be frustrating for we as buyers, but excuse me. But things happen, life. And I am so sorry. Allergies. It has been 80 degrees here in lovely Ohio, and which of course is making everything excuse me, pollinate and everything. We've had the windows open. Oh my goodness. I so apologize. I wish I had a drink or something. But I hate that. I'm like, I don't want to be one of them podcasters that constantly is drinking and sipping, because I don't know if people realize when you do that, you can like hear the slurp and like the smack of your lips and everything. And like when you do it continuously, it drives me a little bit batty. I'll be honest. It does. Anyways, I happened to be just walking past the computer and clicked refresh on Etsy, and it all popped up, and I excuse me, went nuts. And because she posted like some teaser pictures, and I was like, oh my goodness, it's like my color. And I got both of them. So I got it in, it's supposed to be an Aran weight. I think it's a heavy worsted. I don't think it's quite an Aran. It doesn't seem that thick to me. It might be a heavy worsted. I mean, it might be considered an Aran weight because it's got the little lumpy bumpies, the tweeds. But I really don't think it's a full Aran. Not in my opinion. And then she also had it in a sock. And I'm like, holy cannoli, tweed socks? How awesome would that be? I'm like, I'm in love. I want tweed on my feet. My feet can look like pickles. So here's the Aran weight of the chili. I think it's chili verde. Like I said, I could totally be pronouncing this wrong. I don't deny it. And then the sock. And like I said, same colorway. But it's my favorite. So I snagged it. And I'm like, I feel like I should be like calling this like the orange and green show or something like that. Because everything I buy is orange and green. And I apologize for that. It might be boring for you. But she did do some special requests for the tweed. She was going to place a big order, and the thread was open for a little while, a couple days, and I did request some blue. I'm not normally a blue person, but I have a few things in mind. One's more of an aqua and a blue, so I'll have something different. But I told her, I was like, you must have been channeling your inner Jenna when you were dyeing this, because this is the exact color of green I love the most. So those are my tweeds. And then I was talking about yarn and Nerd Wars, and something came up. Oh, and I had gotten Spinning Fates with Beaker and Bunsen I showed a couple weeks ago. And somebody in my Rev group was like, you need to check out another crafty girl. She has Muppet-inspired yarn. And I'm like, be still in my heart. I love the Muppets. I love Jim Henson. I love the Fraggles. I love Sesame Street. I love it all. My husband brought me the Muppet movie, the new one. It came out yesterday on DVD and Blu-ray, and he brought me home the Blu-ray, and it came with finger puppets. And he's like, I had to get you the one with the finger puppets. He's like, it was $5 more for the finger puppets. He's like, but I knew you'd love them. And I'm like, that's why I love you, because you don't think it's silly to spend $5 extra to buy me finger puppets. So it's really cute. There's like Miss Piggy and Gonzo and Fozzie and Kermit. So I jumped over to another crafty girl who is, at least for the moment, willing to do custom orders, and I got Scooter, because I love Scooter. He's such a nerd, and I love nerds. I'm a big nerd myself, and it is this gorgeous bold orange and bright green and yellow. I love it, and it is soft. It is so soft and squishy, but there's no smell to it. I mean, maybe a light hint of just like a wool smell, but there's no smell to it, which isn't bad. I mean, I'd rather have no smell than it reeking like vinegar. That's just me. So, she has cute little tags. Another crafty girl. She's on Etsy. It's called Scooter. And it's neat because she even writes the date it was created on. Like, this was created on 3/6/12. It is a superwash merino. Worst weight, because I love worst weight the best. And I just love it. I love all its beautiful, bright colors. And I couldn't stop there. no. I had to have Kermit. I mean, I love Kermit. I love Kermit so much. And it is just a beautiful bright green with dark green and like a yellowy green, and I mean, what more can I say? Kermit. And I think I'm gonna need some Gonzo. I don't know what it's with me and Blue all of a sudden, but every time I see Gonzo in her shop, I'm like, that is really pretty. It's like blue, I think kind of like a plum. I don't know what else. There's you know, a few different shades of stuff, but it is really pretty. I'm like, she pulled it off. She made me like blue. Go figure. Because I don't do that very often. So, I love it. It's so squishy and soft. So definitely check out Another Crafty Girl. I know she's got a few things in her shop as of this moment. And I cannot remember who... I feel bad. I always try to shout out to people who tell me about things. Because I love it when somebody, like, pops into the group or something. It's like, I saw this and I thought of you. Because that is awesome. You know, that someone thinks of you. So I feel horrible. I cannot remember off the top of my head the Rav user who told me about this. But if you watch and you know who you are, thank you. Because I love it. And I've already done a request for a sock yarn from her. And now I gotta go get some Gonzo. Because I didn't get to see the movie last night. It was knit night. Because it was Tuesday. And he popped the movie in for the kids, and I got to see like the first like 10 minutes or so, and I'm like, I don't want to go, I want to watch the movie. He's like, well, you can stay. I'm like, no, I'm expected to be somewhere, because I didn't go last week. And then, I'm going to warn you now, I have a spoiler alert. If you are in the Twisted Fiber Arts Club, you might want to look away, because I got something to show you. I got my Twisted Fiber Arts. I am in the Wilderness Club. Because you got to pick. They had two, like, color schemes. You got to pick Wilderness and Picnic. And at first I had picked Picnic. Because they sent links to Pinterest, and they had, like, made two boards, I guess is what they call them, and one had the pictures that inspired the spring colorways, and one inspired the wilderness. Well, I like the pictures in the spring colorway better than I like the pictures in the wilderness, but I missed a key thing about the different themes. I guess somewhere, I went back and I found it in the email. I got so excited with pictures because I'm such a visual person that I missed that it said that Picnic's like focus is going to be like pink, purple, and green, like a lime green. Because I'm not a pink and purple girl. I would have never picked Picnic if... Not that there wasn't pink and purple in the pictures, because there were. I just guess I missed where those were going to be like focus colors. And then in the wilderness, I didn't care for the pictures very much. They just seemed very drab, and I'm like, I like bright. But the main focus for the wilderness was gray, orange, and a yellow-green. Yeah, can we say wilderness, like, totally pegged me for the right kind of person for that club? So I did get... Meg contacted me, because I had posted in the Twisted Art Fiber Club group, that I was kind of like, oh, I kind of was having some remorse about which club I picked. And then Meg, who does the dyeing, was so nice to PM me on Ravelry and was like, look, I have not started dyeing yet, and I will let you switch. And I'm like, thank you, because I got my club thing. And even though there is purple in it, I love it. It is like a plummy purple and kind of like, dare I say, like a brownish purple. Does that make any sense? But there's definitely like a brown hint to it. And then it looks kind of like a brownish, like orangey kind of color that goes into this like pea green. I love this. Like I said, I pulled it out of the box and I was like dumbstruck because I didn't think I would necessarily like something with purple. It's not my color, and I'm kind of worried about how wearing it, because normally purple makes me look like a corpse. It really, really does. I normally cannot do purple at all, but I think it's kind of like a plummy purple. I think, it'll be okay. Like, I can't do lavender, so I think it's dark enough, and it's kind of plummy colored, and I think I can do it. And I'm trying to debate what I want this to be. This is the Kabam, because you could also pick your base. You got to pick your theme, and you got to pick your base, and I went with a sampler. So I'm going to get one skein. It's a double evolution, so it's like 2 skeins in one. But I'm going to get 1 shipment of Kabam, which this is it. 1 shipment of Ariel, which I think is all superwash, and 1 shipment of Tasty, which is what I made my whippoorwill out of, which is a merino, nylon, and cashmere blend. So I definitely noticed, I was looking in the Ravelry group at the spoilers, and I definitely think the Kabam, which it must be because it has 30% bamboo, 60% superwash merino, 10% nylon, that the colors don't seem as bold as some of the other bases. So like I said, I totally assume that's the bamboo in it. But I love it, and I'm thinking that it might be a citron, because I think I'm like the only person on Ravelry that hasn't made one. Just because, I don't know, it didn't really do much for me. But when I was looking at the Kabam finished objects and other colorways, a lot of people have done citrons, and they look gorgeous in the Evolution yarns. I'm like, that is something I could make and want to wear. So I think that's what I'm going to do with it. I don't think I'd want a citron in a solid color, because for me, it's not enough interest. There's not like a pattern, really. Although the crazy citrons are amazing. I just don't know if I have the patience to go and pick out. It would be different if I was just following an already written pattern. But to go and pick out different lace patterns to put, I don't think I have that kind of dedication. At least not at this moment. And I really want to start this soon. So, that's my club yarn. Yay! I guess I didn't realize what a big deal it was to get into the club. And, I mean, I knew there was a limited amount of spots. And people were really bitter about not getting in. And I just see it as, I mean, it happens. I mean, there are definitely clubs that I would have loved to have gotten in and didn't. But I'm like, I feel bad that people were upset, and I don't know. There's always next time I see it. I don't know. I almost feel guilty, like I got in, and like to me it wasn't like a huge deal if I didn't get in. Like, I'm excited that I did, but if I didn't, it wouldn't have upset me. They have so many gorgeous colorways that, and it's kind of nice because you can only get certain colorways for so long, and then they reintroduce other ones, and there's always kind of something new there. So, book review. I have a book review, and I got it off Amazon, as I almost always do, and it's so funny, I've been wanting this book for a while, but normally what I do when I need to buy something on Amazon, and I don't have enough for the free shipping, then I pick a book that I've been wanting to get it to the free shipping. So, it's not a new book, but it's Wendy Knits Lace. And like I said, I love to knit lace. Besides toys, that is my other favorite thing to knit. And does it say how many patterns? It doesn't. I wish I knew the exact pattern count, but there's, several. And there's lots of socks. I probably won't knit any of the socks. But there's some beautiful lace shawls, and my favorite, like my big motivation for buying this. See if I can find a picture where I'm not going to infringe on any copyrights. There's kind of some on the next page. And it is the Garden Party cardigan. I love this. This is definitely on my to knit list. Like I said, the main thing that I really bought this book for is that. And I almost think I want to knit it in an aqua. Because I wouldn't wear it in white. Someone would spill something on it, or I would spill something on it, and it would be ruined the first time I wore it. So I'm thinking like aqua. I'm really liking like aquas and stuff like that right now. And the only thing that I'm disappointed in this book are the pictures. Not that the pictures aren't gorgeous, but some of the details really just, I love this shawl too. And the model is gorgeous, but it's like a brown kind of shawl over top of a copper colored blouse, and you really cannot see all of the detail. Like I said, gorgeous model, gorgeous shawl, gorgeous outfit. I mean, super cute outfit. I just don't think it shows enough of the shawl. Hopefully I'm getting that. That's the only downside with my flip is I can't see. I'm like, okay, see if I can. See, they show you this, but it's still just not very good pictures. Like I said, the pictures are gorgeous. I just think I would like to see like a back shot of the shawl. I want to see all the detail. I want to see the lace pattern. And another one that I love that's a stole, or I think you can make it smaller and just make it a scarf. It is the True Love Scarf or Stole. Once again, gorgeous model, gorgeous outfit, gorgeous stole. I would like to see more detail because this is pretty much the only shot. And this picture is like 3 times on the book. It's like here, it's in the very back, it's on the back cover. Never is there I just want a picture of the pattern. That is like my only beef with this book so far. I mean, I haven't knitted anything out of it yet, but I'm definitely excited to. It's definitely, like here, you can kind of see this pattern a little better because she's wearing a contrasting top. But once again, I just want a really clear shot of the pattern because there's like all these artsy shots and stuff like that, and that doesn't really help me any. I mean, I definitely be referring to stuff on Ravelry, seeing other people's finished objects, but like I said, the photography is just beautiful, the models are beautiful, the finished objects are beautiful. I just want clearer pictures. That's all. So that is my book review. I just saw a little light on my camera blink and I'm kind of concerned why. Like, oh please, battery, don't die on me. It said I had a full battery. Really quick, charity, because I just want to mention it again. Preemie hats for the Remembering Remy. You can find more information on where to send those in the Remembering Remy group that is run by Tracy, also known as TB McCarthy, because them little babies need hats to help keep them warm. And the pattern I used and made my hats with are in the show notes from last week. I won't link it again. I'll link the group on Ravelry that you can go to. So just a quick mention about that again, because it's important to me to mention it. And then a couple quick shout outs I wanted to do. Lily Lemon on Ravelry has a new podcast called Needles and Nuts, where she shows my owl puffs, or owl puffs she made from my pattern, and a cute little way to display them. So thank you for showing my little owl puffs and cute things to do with them and mentioning me. And she's on episode 2 now. She has her own little group for her Needles and Nuts. And I think it's cute, you know. She talks about her husband and he'll help demonstrate stuff, kind of like a his and hers. And then Knitting Brooklyn. Knitting Brooklyn's having a knit along for the Remembering Remy hats where you can win great prizes. So if you do make hats, you can jump over there, and she has an audio podcast. I think she's up to episode 7. So I'm like, the audio podcasts are fun and all, but I kind of like the video podcast because you get to see people. I'm like when I was watching the Needles and Nuts, you're like, oh, that's what she looks like. Because not everyone has, like, you know, headshot pictures for their avatars. So it's fun. It's fun seeing people. I know people said that about me, and they're like, oh, I feel like I met you, you know. So I enjoy them. You know, so many people have come in. There's so many new podcasts, and there are, which I think is great. I think it's great that there's so many, and there's a variety, because everybody's different. Everybody has different knitting styles and things they like to knit and like to talk about and interests, and, you know, it's kind of neat because you can kind of, you know, watch someone a time or two and see if they interest you. And if not, hopefully, you know, there's something out there that you enjoy watching or listening to. So that's it for me this week. I have to hop off here, and I'm going to try to download this video onto the computer before I go. So off to the doctor's again. So till next week, I'll see you then. Oh, before I totally sign off, I'm Jenna, Retro Lemon on Ravelry. My group is on Ravelry is the Retro Lemon Studio. I am Retro Lemon on Plurk, Twitter, Pinterest. So you can find me there. I hope to see you in the group. If you haven't joined the group, come on over. I'd love to have you. Love to chat. Ask any questions about any patterns or anything of mine, or any questions on a knit-along pattern, because I know with a variety it's nice to get input. So now, till next week, I'll see you then. Bye.